I'd like to call the Lincoln Way Board of Education meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can you please call the roll?
Dana Berthold.
Here.
Catherine Johnson.
Here.
Joseph Costick.
Here.
Richard Lestine. Caitlin Olenek. Deidre Stokes.
Here.
Aaron Janik.
Here. All right, we have no one signed up for public comment, so with that, I will open the, I guess I'll call it the BINA hearing? The BINA hearing, okay. The purpose of this hearing is to provide opportunity for public comment concerning the intent of the Board of Education to sell 31,330,000 school fire prevention and safety bonds. The purpose of these bonds is to fund life safety facility improvements at Lincoln Way East and Lincoln Way Central High Schools. Before we hear any written or oral comment from the public, does anyone on the board have any further comments after having time to consider the information presented at last month's board meeting? Hearing none. All right, can the board secretary please read out loud any written testimony regarding the bond sale submitted ahead of time to the board or district administration?
I'm in receipt of no such correspondence.
Okay. We will now open the hearing to public comment regarding the bond sale. And we have no one signed up. So with that, all persons desiring to be heard have been given an opportunity to present oral and written testimony with respect to the proposed issuance of bonds. I now ask for a motion and a second to adjourn the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
And do we need a vote on that? Nope.
All in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, we will close the hearing. And now, we will hear from the student council presidents. Whoever wants to go first.
What a great transition.
Good evening. I'm James Stocker from Lincoln Way Central, and I'm thrilled to share some updates, accomplishments, and events about my school as we head to the final quarter of the school year. We've had a huge success in competition and school innovation, and we set the bar high for the remainder of the year. Central has introduced some new features on campus, bringing joy to students and creating a great school environment. First, we have opened up the Central Perk, a coffee shop in the library that is open on certain dates. Students can grab their favorite morning brew before class, and all the money raised is put towards the class gift. Furthermore, LWC Human Performance has had a huge addition to the weight room, as we have recently acquired a new piece of technology helping athletes of every sport. The Shred Mill is a resistance treadmill that helps athletes correct running form and increase their athletic potential. Student Council just hosted our favorite event, Teacher of the Night. Students from Student Council get to invite staff members who they feel made a positive impact in their lives to participate in a fun-filled banquet with games and speeches. It was a huge success, and now Student Council is turning its attention to Teacher Appreciation Week coming up. Our school is extremely proud to announce that LWC Nightmare Student Section has won the IHSA Student Section and Spirit Showdown Award. We are incredibly proud of this award because it represents our entire student body and showcases the amazing night pride we have here at Lincoln Way Central. The Nightmares have put on events all year and captured it on video to present to the Student Section Showdown Committee. They traveled down to Illinois State University as finalists and were eventually awarded with the title of the best student section in the state of Illinois during the halftime of the girls basketball state championship game. This was the first year Nightmares has formally been a club and competed, and we look to take our success and momentum into the spring as the weather warms up and spring sports begin. Speaking of sports, we had many notable feats from our winter sports teams to finish their season. The competitive cheerleading team qualified for state, where they placed 17th overall. Furthermore, the swimming Knights placed first in conference for the first time in 8 years, were sectional champions for the first time in school history, and qualified 6 athletes for the IHSA state finals. Also, their inaugural season as the District 210 girls wrestling co-op team, these amazing athletes superseded expectations by winning the IWCOA dual team state championship and an IHSA regional team championship, all while going a perfect 19-0 in dual matches. Boys bowling team finished with a record of 8-4, were SWSC conference champions, IHSA regional champions, and qualified for the IHSA state tournament, finishing in 18th place. Finally, the girls gymnastics team were SWSC conference champions for the 15th consecutive year, IHSA regional champions, IHSA state qualifiers, and for the first time in program history, they took home a state team trophy, placing 3rd overall. With AP testing coming up, prom and social on the horizon, standardized testing for underclassmen, and graduation for seniors, the community feeling at Central has never been closer. As we head into fourth quarter, the LWC spirit is high, and we are excited to finish the year on a strong note. Thank you.
Thank you. Who would like to go next?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elena Vargas, and I am presenting on behalf of Lincoln Way East as Student Council President. As we quickly approach spring break, East students are working hard on their academics, athletics, and activities. Just last month, Student Council put on the masquerade-themed winter dance, Dancing in Disguise. We hosted over 800 students for a night of dancing, eating, and fun. Not only did students get a chance to wear decorative masks and dance in the gym, but they also had the opportunity to hang out with friends and enjoy food from Chick-fil-A, Boba Heaven, Do-Right Donuts, and Nautical Bowls. In addition, Student Council generously approved a proposition to donate around $1 per ticket to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, resulting in a $1,000 donation. Also occurring last month, Lincoln Way East hosted the Mr. and Mrs. Griffin pageant and a talent show. This program showcased senior boys and girls while also highlighting several talent show acts along the way. The evening ended by crowning Rachel Bacon as Miss Griffin, Charlie Cossack as Mr. Griffin, and Emerson Dienching as the talent show winner. As our winter athletic and activity season ends, I want to highlight a couple of our programs. The Lincoln Way East chess team finished strong at the state competition. Our selectable team won regionals for the 7th consecutive year, and girls gymnastics took 3rd place in state. We are now looking forward to cheering on all of our spring athletics and activities. Speaking of spring, this weekend, our music department will be debuting their spring musical. This is a huge production with a large cast of singers, dancers, and musicians that is sure to wow all who attend. We cannot wait to see what the result of their hard work is. Another event going on this week is World Down Syndrome Day, which is tomorrow, March 21st. The life classes have been busy making tie-dye socks for this event. They are also encouraging everyone to rock their socks and wear crazy socks to raise awareness and celebrate individuals with Down syndrome. Finally, Dance Marathon is planning a Miracle Makers event on Saturday, April 26th. This event raises money for Lilly Children's Hospital in Chicago. The theme for this year is Superheroes vs. Villains. There will be games, raffles, and speakers from families who have kids treated at Lurie Children's. It is always a very moving event that has raised between $7,000 and $15,000 in the past years. Thank you and have a wonderful night.
Thank you. And certainly, but not least. Last but not least. Jeez, can't talk. Thank you. Certainly, but not least. Whatever that means. You're up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amelia Peterson, and I am the president of Student Council at Lincoln Way West. This year, for the first time ever, Lincoln Way West hosted a pickleball tournament on February 26th. It was not only a fun and competitive event, but also one with deep meaning. What made this tournament so special wasn't just the pickleball matches, but the impact it had beyond the courts. The money raised went to the New Lenox Fire Buddies, an organization that does great work by pairing with local kids with chronic illnesses. It was a privilege to contribute to such a meaningful cause. Of course, an event like this wouldn't have been possible without the generous support of our local businesses. Their donations of prizes helped make the event an even greater success, and we're grateful for their contributions. With the success of this year's event, we are excited to announce that the planning of our 2026 pickleball tournament is already in the works. We can't wait to continue the tradition of friendly competition while supporting a great cause. This winter, we also hosted our annual Winter Dance, which had a Winter Wonderland theme. It was a huge success with over 875 tickets sold. It was another highly attended event that wouldn't have been possible without all of Student Council's planning and preparation. In addition, our practice ACT sessions have been underway this semester, with many juniors attending both morning and afternoon prep sessions as they prepare for the April 16th SAT test. We've also seen some outstanding achievements from our student athletes and teams this winter. Our dance and cheer teams both had strong finishes at the state finals, placing in the top 10 in state. The boys swimming and diving team had a historic season, breaking multiple school records and sending 5 warriors to state. Zoe Dempsey and Nathan Elsner finished their wrestling seasons, each placing 3rd at state. Additionally, Caroline Smith, a multi-sport athlete, was named the SWSC Athlete of the Year and the Daily Southtown Basketball Player of the Year before she will be heading to Drake this fall to play volleyball. Our extracurricular programs continue to provide students with additional opportunities for growth. 5 of our Warriors, Kay Buda, Madeline Buse, May Frank, Abby Hamilton, and Jonah Zaleski, were selected to attend the 2025 All-State Music Festival. Our theater company seniors also had an excellent leadership opportunity as they prepared for the Winter Play Senior Directed Showcase in February. The theater department hosted a very successful winter ball for community members on February 8th, which also helped promote the upcoming spring musical, Cinderella. In addition, Best Buddies teamed up with our dance program for a halftime performance at the varsity boys basketball game. Bring Change to Mind celebrated Random Acts of Kindness Day by inviting all students to write heartfelt messages for local kids affected by chronic illnesses, who are paired with Project Fire Buddies. This was a wonderful way to support our pickleball tournament while also reminding students of the important cause benefiting local families. I'm so excited to see what Lincoln Way West has in store for the remainder of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. We'll see if I can get through the rest of the meeting. We'll have the consent agenda, items E1 through E6. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The votes are unanimous. This motion passes.
All right, next up under action item is the presentation of invoices for February 21st, 2025 through March 20th, 2025.
Motion to approve invoices through March 20th, 2025, in the amount of $3,534,427.09.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Motion and second. Any questions? Hearing none, can you please open the vote?
Vote is open.
Did you vote no?
The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, I almost did that too. Next up, under action items, is the treasurer's report for February 2025.
In February, revenues totaled $2.7 million, expenses $9.6 million. Total cash balance on February 28th was $32.0 million. Through the end of February, 53.0% of budgeted operating revenue received, 64.8% of operational spending that was budgeted has occurred. As a historical look back to this point in last year, it was 52.1 and 65.4. So both operating revenues and expenses are trending appropriately. There are some specific areas of spending being watched for overages. For example, one of those would be District 843 Special Education Transportation. That's trending high compared to that specific budget line we received with the cooperative at the beginning of the year. Taking a look at what that might mean for the impact on future budgets. If our costs in areas like that continue to trend that way, it would be noteworthy enough that kind of the business office will sit down with Special Services Transportation, make sure that we revise some budget lines in the 5-year financial forecast.
That wouldn't require an amended budget at all, would it?
It wouldn't, because we're okay overall in the education fund, but those are the specific lines that as we enter into budget season that I do look at and want to make sure we capture, plus update in the financial forecast. Mr. Janik, because you did mention it, if there's any reason for an amended budget for the sake of something larger, say that would be bus financing or some of this bond stuff in terms of when revenues and expenses hit the books, if in conversations with our auditors it's recommended we do that, that'll be May, June, like typical. But nothing for the sole reason of something so specific.
Got it.
Through February, liquid rates hovered about 4.3%. Mid and long-term Treasury rates are seeing some declines under 4%. So as predicted, interest rates show those declines. Cash variance negative 258, real on par for the month. Local revenues were up slightly. That's all I have to report.
Any question for Dr. Dubek? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. This vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
Next up is the student activities report for 2025.
The student activity report for the month ended February 28th, 2025. The fund balance is $2,109,835 with revenues of $299,279 and expenditures of $542,864. There were several accounts in the negative, once again due to timing. So for March and April, we'll see those negatives as we're doing fundraising for the spring sports that kick off. Prom's right around the corner. Yearbooks will be sold. So overall, we're in very good shape, but there were some negative accounts. I would ask that you approve the student activity account summary as presented.
The yearbook one for East, that was 13,000. Do we buy the yearbooks up front?
We
And
do.
sell them?
We do. That's one I've got to look at, Aaron. I was surprised by that, but I don't know why that would be so much unless we just haven't made a payment on that backside yet, because typically that wouldn't be that high, but that's something we'll have to look at.
Yeah, if you
What
could-
about,
go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No,
What about
go
the
ahead.
class of 2026 also, that 9,000?
That would be prom.
Oh, okay.
So that's your deposit. That's your
Deposit, got it.
Yep.
And then they'll get it when people register.
Yeah.
So just back to this yearbook
Yep.
thing real quick, just so 13,000, we buy the yearbooks up front. We do that for same for each school?
We do, and yearbooks are purchased during registration. Mike,
That's-
do we know that they do anything different at East this year? And Mr. Griggs isn't here this evening to ask specifically.
Not that I'm aware of, but
Yeah.
we'll look into it. We'll make sure we bring an answer
Yeah,
back.
we'll get back to you on that one.
Kelly looks like she might have some input.
What do you got, Kelly? Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't remember seeing the yearbook on there. No, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
So I have been talking to East regarding that overage. We did make the second invoice payment on the yearbooks, the 24-25 yearbooks, about a month earlier this year than we did last year. But it does reflect that there is a little bit of a problem in that account because basically right now with that negative, the majority of the books for 24-25 have been sold already. So when we open registration next week and we start selling yearbooks for 25-26, it's probably going to cover that overage. But really, there is a little bit of an issue in that account, so I've been working with East to see. Part of the issue is because I think for a couple of years, we were selling our yearbooks for less than what they cost. So last year, we increased, if you might remember, I think it was it 40 before? And we put it to 50. So I confirmed with the yearbook sponsor that she gave me all the costs. I had confirmed before we agreed to raise it to 50 and keep it at 50, but she sent me the costs again and the approximate books that were sold. So we are selling the yearbooks for slightly less than $50. So we will be able to chip away a little bit at that negative balance. But otherwise, we might have to use just some built-up balances in other accounts to just do a one-time transfer to cover that overage.
It's the first time we've seen the timing of this, then, basically.
It's the first time we've seen the timing, and the issue is only at East. The other two accounts are fine.
Very good. Thank you, Kelly.
I have a quick question. Is it because the other schools that they hire at West and Central, is that?
No, I think the issue mainly was that for a couple of years, East was doing some extras. Because anytime you do in like option, you add extra pages or you do like a special cover, anything like that, it adds cost onto the base price. So they were adding cost without us really knowing that they were doing that. So So I think that was the issue, but the yearbook sponsor at East right now is like very aware of it. And so she's tracking her costs closely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on the student activities report? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the report.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. This vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up, we have the wired network upgrade and refresh.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Right. In January 2025, the district issued a request for proposal through the federal E-rate process to replace our existing core and IDF switches that were purchased in 2018 and 2020. Network switches provide connectivity for computers, phones, copiers, printers, wireless access point uplinks, security cameras, digital signage, and other initiatives. The RFP also included additional bandwidth between wiring closets, additional ports for device connectivity to support our current needs and future initiatives. Some of the planned initiatives include a wireless upgrade, emergency alerting and intercom updates, and some other projects. The district received multiple responses from resellers and different manufacturers, as shown in the second page of your cover memo. As a manufacturer, Juniper was very aggressive with their pricing. In checking trends, we have seen other districts in our area moving to the Juniper product line. This would be a change for us. Our wired infrastructure is currently Aruba. In comparing Aruba and Juniper, we're looking at two good options. Both are ranked as leaders in the market space, with Juniper currently having a slight edge for their AI-driven management and troubleshooting processes. District personnel recommends the acceptance of the CDW Juniper bid for $801,218.55 as presented. We are anticipating a 40% E-rate reimbursement on this project, and the project's included in our 5-year technology plan.
Any questions?
I do. Is there a reason why it's drastically lower than, like, for instance, is it because it's Dell, or is there, it seems like the Dell quote, this quote is like half of what Dell is, so is there any?
The Dell quote was very high, and you can see their professional services number for installation and configuration is much higher than any of the other vendors for the consulting company that bid for Dell. When you look at the two Juniper quotes, the bottom two, those are both very competitive, and the hardware numbers are lower on those two Juniper quotes, where they came in very aggressively with their hardware pricing.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the upgrade and refresh.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. This vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up is the Quad Plus abatement.
This is kind of a formality. We agreed in 2019 to give Quad Plus a 15% tax abatement for 5 years. This is year 4 of 5. So we have one more time, and it would account to about $15,000 a year.
Do we do this every year? I don't
We
remember
do.
seeing this.
We do.
We do.
Well, we might have not have done it the first year.
We did.
Did we? Okay.
I feel like we've
Yeah.
done it. I feel like we've done it like 8 years in a row.
I know, well, that's what I was saying. I can't believe this is only the 4th year.
Yeah.
But it seems like a long time ago that they did come and present to us. But yeah, we've done it every year. I know we did it last year. Yep.
So what happens after the 5 years? Like after?
Then it goes to 100%.
Okay, right.
So we
Okay, I
just pick
just-
up the extra
Right.
15 grand.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a 45-minute discussion, yeah.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the Quad Plus abatement as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up is the second reading of student fees for the 2025-2026 school year.
Mike and Kelly have put together some comparisons for the board. Our recommendation is no changes for the 25-26 school year for the overall fees. Mike, anything to add to this at this time?
No, sir.
Anybody have any questions regarding student fees? Might be. We,
Yeah.
over the years, we've done I feel Kelly and her team and Mike have done a good job of streamlining our fees, and we are in line, and I think parents will appreciate the keeping it flat for another year as we're able.
And they do purchase the yearbook in the fees.
There is through the fees, correct. And they can also purchase, some do purchase once they get them, yeah. Mhm.
Our technology fee at $30, what exactly does that entail?
That still covers the insurance on the device.
Okay, got it.
Yep. So students receive a device for all
Right.
4 years, and $30 a year covers that device.
Yes. All right. Any further questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the student fees.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
The voting is open. This vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up, we have the motion to, I messed up again. Second reading of the meal prices for the 2025-2026 school year.
Yes, we would ask to approve the recommendation to keep meal prices flat for another year at $3.25 for breakfast and $5.25 for lunch. Kristen and her team have done an outstanding job this year. We have several students utilize our food services, and looking at the prices, they did an analysis. We can keep it flat for one more year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no eggs on there anymore?
No, we kind of stayed away from that here recently. A little more fruit in the breakfast offerings.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the food service meal prices for the 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
The votes are open. This vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up is the second reading of the Board of Education meeting schedule for 2025-2026.
We've included in the backup materials the schedule for the board meeting for 25-26. Typically, we do this in March or April, so we would propose no meeting in July unless one is needed. We can always have an emergency meeting if necessary, but then we would go August through June as presented.
For the bonds, do we have anything that we need to do with those in July?
Not necessarily.
No?
Yeah, not necessarily. That should all be done prior.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions on the meeting schedule? Laminated tonight. All right, with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve the second reading of the Board of Education meeting schedule for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
I was worried there for a second. Oh. Thought someone was going to vote it down. All right, next up is the LWEA Memorandum of Understanding.
So this is an MOU for the early release professional development days that the teachers had requested. And after much deliberation, we've come to an understanding that what is entailed here will last for the life of the contract through June 30th of 2029. So basically just a language change. As you guys know, in the contract, teachers are able to, there's early release the day before Thanksgiving break, the day before spring break. This would allow for 4 additional professional development days where the students would be released, the teachers would stay. So this would allow some additional time for collaboration and work amongst our teachers. And as I said, this would then be in place through the remainder of the current collective bargaining agreement. So I'd ask that you approve the MOU as presented.
Any questions on the MOU?
Not just the bell schedule, you need like a PhD or you.
It's a lot, but this is one of the most detailed MOUs you will find. I will tell you that.
That's pretty.
Every definition and every time is in there. There'll be no questions.
Well, we all understand it now.
Yes, we're
Since
good.
the
We're
memorandum
good.
of
We're all on the
understanding.
same page. Yep.
All right, with that, I'd entertain a motion to approve the MOU as presented.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. Vote is unanimous, motion passes.
All right, under informational items, we have the report of the Lincoln Way Special Education District 843 Governing Board meeting held February 27th, 2025.
Our meeting is next week, so I think we've already reported out on this meeting from February. I think did we talk about the last board meeting? I feel like it was,
Oh,
this is one of the ones that comes after.
I'm like Ron
After our meeting.
Burgundy, I'm just reading what's in
I
front
know,
of me.
I know. Yeah, they're all running together.
Okay, sounds
So,
good.
The minutes are there, if anybody
Got
has
it.
questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are there.
FOIA requests,
FOIAs are included in your backup material for your review.
buildings and grounds report.
Same thing, as Chuck and his team have continued to put together monthly reports, updated on our utilities. Any questions, we can answer those.
The community relations report.
Also in your backup materials for your review.
Anything from District 210 advisory?
Just took one last look at the handbook and decided that it's ready to come to the board for approval, so.
So first reading, April, approval in May. Okay, good.
The legislative report?
Nothing really to update. I think we'll have some activity before the April meeting. The big bill to pass out a committee that would impact student athletes would be students that are playing a high school sport can play the club sport at the same time during the same season. That's going to cause some heartburn. It's not one that I would be in favor of, but that certainly is
Isn't
passed
that
out of committee.
is that an IHSA change, or is
Well,
that a
no.
legislation?
So if legislative law can override the bylaw of the IHSA.
Okay.
And so that's what we're into now. The IHSA has obviously, given their reasons to not be in favor of this. One of the questions obviously is the minutes played, the wear and tear, you name it. That would be a concern. But it looks like it's going to happen. I'm not in favor of it. I don't know what the impact would be. It would provide opportunity for these club organizations to make even more money. And so we'll kind of see, we'll continue to watch that.
I don't like to hear that.
Yes, I know. As a parent, that's rough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to continue to keep an eye on that. But that's the only one of note right now that is passed out of committee.
So if you're playing for like a, baseball organization,
Sure.
you could play for both high school and the baseball organization?
What it would allow is your Sunday doubleheader. The travel groups could host Sunday doubleheaders
Okay.
during the spring season, whereas now they currently don't. Typically in the Midwest, the high school travel seasons for baseball begin right after.
Sure.
I mean, literally the Monday after the state tournament.
Yeah.
And then obviously go through the fall.
Right.
is the travel baseball season. This would change that. This would also for girls soccer. Girls soccer has some travel concurrently. We've had several students opt not to play school soccer and just play club soccer. But this would allow a student athlete to play Tuesday, Friday, and maybe go play Saturday, Sunday with their club team somewhere else. There's gonna, if this passes, there'll have to be quite a bit of discussion and agreement amongst our programs of how we're gonna manage this. That being a former coach, I'd find it difficult to have players on my team be their some and not be their some.
Yeah,
It would be difficult. So
Planning.
we'll continue to follow this, and, but it's the one thing that could potentially have an impact on Lincoln Way students.
Okay. Anything from the superintendent?
Not at this time.
Any other district business?
None to report.
Let's see. Correspondence?
No correspondence.
All right. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of employees and/or student disciplinary cases. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We are now in closed session. Any action after?
Possible.
good? We're live? All right, we are back in open session. We have no action to take after closed session. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We are done, and our next meeting is April 18th, 2025.